very good morning to you and welcome back to your weekly rundown of everything shaking the timeline, shaking the continent and shaking your peace of mind. Yes, a lot happened this week. So yes, everything shaking your peace of mind this week. A mix of innovation, heartbreak, football heartbreak, celebrity wahala and one very unexpected political crossover. But we'll dive into the full gist right after this short break as usual. Stay with us. Alright, welcome back. Let's get into it. And we're starting off with an innovative story, Idea Government Agencies of Interest, their first edition. So Idea TV just rolled out something really important, the Idea Government Agency of Interest, or IGAI. And honestly, it is coming at the perfect time. For years, Africa's research and innovation ecosystem has struggled because too much of the money and decision making comes from outside. And that is how we ended up with parachute research, foreign teams flying in and using local researchers for data and flying back out with all the credits. Now with global aids shrinking, the conversation is shifting and Africa needs to fund Africa. And that is exactly what the IGAI wants to spotlight agencies across the continent that are actually investing in research, innovation, and homegrown solutions. This first edition features 4 heavy hitters, and we start with South Africa's National Research Foundation, the NRF, one of the most established research funders on the continent, pushing innovation through its NRF 2030 vision. We also have the Egypt Academy of Scientific Research and Technology, with over 50 years of deep structured investments in patents, innovation hubs, and scientific councils. We also have Nigeria's TED Fund, which is the backbone of public tertiary education funding, turning academic ideas into real-world impacts. Let's not forget about Rwanda's NCST, the engine behind Rwanda's rise as an innovation-driven economy. And in classic Idea TV style, nominations are open. So if any agency worth spotlighting, people can now send it in. A good start to a continent's wild accountability culture. Now we'll move to football, and this one still hurts. DR Congo officially ended Nigeria's dream of making it to the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and honestly, the match left more questions than answers. The Super Eagles just couldn't get their rhythm. There was missed chances, shaking, defending, and a Congolese team that came prepared. By the final whistle, the dream was gone. Social media, you can ask what that place looks like. It was total meltdown. And then you talk about analysts, they were calling for full restructuring. And then talk about fans, they were simply heartbroken. But as we always say, Nigeria will rise again. The big conversation now is how fast will that be? Still in Nigeria, a deeply troubling situation of the Eruku KWARA states when bandits attacked a Christ Apostolic Church during an event service, killing 3 people and abducting at least 10 worshippers. A young girl is still in the hospital with a severe neck injury. And what is painful about the story is that the community claims they had been warning authorities for weeks, and local hunters, police on ground have been resisting attempted entries, but there was no higher level support until things escalated. Well, let's take a look at this. So now the KWARA State Police Command says their response forced the attackers to flee. But by the time the dust settled, lives had already gone. The Commissioner of Police has promised to clamp down until the bandits are totally disseminated. But the community is still grieving and frustrated. We'll now move to our next story. One of the hardest stories this week from KEBBI State. Gunmen stormed the government girls' comprehensive secondary school in Maga, abducting dozens of students after a violent midnight raid. A teacher was killed. Families have been in deep distress ever since. But then, a little hope. One of the kidnapped girls escaped. She's alive, still shaking, but she's safe. And her return lifted community's morale and renewed hope that more girls will still be rescued. Authorities are still tracking the kidnappers across the forest. And once again, the big national question returns. How are children still not safe in their own classroom? We'll now bring you more updates on this story. We'll now move to our next story. Let's take things beyond the continent for a moment, because this next one shocked the whole world. And it is about Nicki Minaj. Yes, the Nicki Minaj that you know. She appeared at a United States-hosted UN event, not to perform this time around, but to speak about religious freedom in Nigeria. She publicly backed Donald Trump's claim that Christians are being persecuted, even hinting at the need for global attention. She admitted she was nervous, but the message came through bold. She wants to spotlight the deadly threats against Christians in Nigeria and said she can't wait to visit the country. Let's watch this.
Thank you, Ambassador Waltz, for this invitation. It is an honor to stand on this stage with you and the other distinguished speakers here today to shine a spotlight on the deadly threat faced by thousands of Christians in Nigeria. Music has taken me around the globe. I have seen how people, no matter their language, culture, or religion, come alive when they hear a song that touches their soul. Religious freedom means we all can sing our faith regardless of who we are, where we live, and what we believe. But today, faith is under attack in way too many places. In Nigeria, Christians are being targeted, driven from their homes, and killed. Churches have been burned. Families have been torn apart, and entire communities live in fear.
Now, security analysts quickly pointed out that Nigeria's violence is far more complex, affecting multiple ethnic and religious groups. But Nicki Minaj's involvement changed the whole global conversation instantly. That is to show that when a superstar speaks, the world listens, whether it is accurate or not. This is a story about a rapper, a US president, and Nigeria's security crisis. This is to show that 2025 is really writing its own script. Now, to the premium Lagos to anywhere content of this week. VERYDARKMAN and Mr. Jollof, two of Nigeria's loudest online personalities, somehow ended up on the same United Nigeria airline flights. And instead of enjoying the moment, they went straight into a heated argument mid-air. Let's take a look.
Talk back with that for will slap you on down. One night, is it media? I get a wallet.
So you see that passengers were recording, cabin crew were trying to restore order, and then the internet immediately was on fire. But here is where the story got matured. Both men have apologized publicly, and to everyone's surprise, the United Nigerian airline accepted the apology and then used it to make a larger point. They basically said, apology accepted, but let this be a reminder that no matter who you are, civility is non-negotiable on the flight. They emphasized that safety, not influencer ego, is the priority in the air. And the bigger lesson here is is that this isn't just about two celebrities fighting. It showed how influencers' culture now spills into everyday spaces, even places where safety must come first. So this is your viral moment. Is to show that your viral moment can easily become someone else's security concern. And that will be all for this week. You see how we went from innovation shaping Africa to security crisis demanding attention, then to football heartbreak, then global superstars stepping into Nigeria's politics. Then we now move to flight drama, reminding us that adulthood requires decorum. So let us know in the comment section which of this story hits you the most. Also, do not forget to follow us across all social media platforms at IDEA TV. I am Dera Okere. Thank you for watching.